everyone. Welcome to Environmental Science. Now you may be asking yourself, what is environmental science? What would an environmental scientist do? Well, they could be doing what I'm doing right now, right? Doing some water samples. In this case, we're kind of checking for some nitrate levels. Yeah, that's going. So we could be checking water, right? In this case, I'm going to be checking nitrate levels of a local source. Of course, other things we'll do is check pH of, I don't have this one all shit up. Now, there we go. I can kind of check the pH off of a chart. So you might find us in a lab, but then again, you may find us doing a lot of other things. So real simple, environmental science, right? We're just going to study the environment, but very specifically, human interaction with it, right? Now, ecology is just studying the environment. Then we're just looking at how the bears and the weasels and the deer and the squirrels and the trees all interact, but we're not looking at the human element. In environmental science, that's the key. We're going to focus on the human element. So although you may find an environmental scientist in a lab doing labs we're going to do all year long, you may find us actually out in the environment. So come on in, let's take a look, and let's look at some of the places an environmental scientist might be and why. Well, I'm going to get back to this. We'll see you later. You're just as likely to find an environmental science actually somewhere like here, right? Where we're testing the health of the river system. And we want to check out systems above and below. And after all, a big part of environmental science is just that, getting out in the environment so we know what we need to appreciate. And we may be looking at things like erosion and ways that we can better keep our trails and not lose all the topsoil. Or an environmental scientist is going to find themselves somewhere like this in the Appalachian Mountains, where we can study the tectonic plate actions that pushed up these mountains. I mean, look at that. Amazing. Or maybe an environmental science is learning why we have so many ferns and moss in a rainforest. They may be out here checking the health of the mountain stream. And an environmental scientist is going to obey the signs, right? And an environmental scientist is going to be interested in things like the tectonic plate action that pushed up these rocks and even has them at kind of an angle. Wow. And we could be studying the water cycle, like here. Or maybe you're out here hiking trails up in the deciduous forest. And of course, maybe just stopping to smell the flowers along the way. And an environmental scientist, just like here, is likely to be taking readings of water out at some of our local springs. Check it out. Here at the ocean, right? 71% of the planet covered in water. So, yeah, this is a great place. And we're going to look at some of the flora, right? This will be the flowers, the plants, producers, if you will, in the world. And we're going to look at some of the fauna, right? Fauna, like animals that interact with what we are looking at, talking about in environmental science. We will talk about the biogeochemical cycles, right? Water cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, things of this nature, guys, and so much more. And maybe we just want And that brings us all the way back to here, right? You gotta have a little bit of fun along the way. Back here, kind of looking at some various rocks, etc. Just another part of what we'll do. But real quick, some of these are fun, right? A black light. Well, black light interacts with aragonite, and it kind of gets this greenish yellow glow. And this is a eupalite stone from up in Michigan. You see under the black light, parts of it, because it has various different minerals in it, glow under black light. But anyway, you learn lots of cool and fun stuff along the way. Guys, I can't wait for this year to get underway. Look forward to seeing everybody. Well, I'm going to kind of finish up what I'm doing here, and we'll see you soon. Take care, guys.